Hello there. I've come down here on the Shenandoah River. It's February the 27th. I came down here to try to see. We've had a couple of days of warm weather, and I thought that maybe the fish might be moving, and I could maybe catch some fish and enjoy that kind of deal. Okay, but there are not any kind of bait fish around. I don't see any kind of bait fish or any kind of sunfish nor anything like that. So what I want to do is I want to kind of show you the kind of water that I'm fishing, because the water that I am fishing is challenging. And if you are faced with the kind of conditions that I have and that I have to fish in all the time, I mean the structure, the closeness of everything that's around you, then maybe, just maybe, I can help. One of the first things that you should understand is your equipment, because it's not going to be the typical type of gear that people are going to recommend to you on YouTube that are fishing ponds, the banks of ponds that are nice and clear, or that are fishing in a boat, that kind of deal. You hear a lot of recommendations for like a 7 or a 7.5 foot rod from a lot of YouTube fishermen. Okay, in this kind of situation, you do not want that. I'm fishing with a Fenwick Eagle 5'6" ultralight rod. I'm fishing with ultralight rod because I'm fishing for anything that moves. And on this river, the smallmouth that I'm going to catch in this area will range from between 3/4 of a pound to about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. Every now and then you'll slam into a 3 or 4 pound one, but it's rare. Most of the time you're going to get a bit smaller fish, and so an ultralight rod is a must for me. I enjoy the ultralight. Now I plan to get like a light or a medium light for just strictly bass fishing around here at some point, but right now I really love the ultralight. And I've got a 1000 size Daiwa Regal reel strung with vicious copolymer 4-pound test. I tried 2 out here, but it's so snaggy that I just keep breaking it off. So 4-pound it is. That does a couple of things. It allows you to throw light lures a lot better and a lot easier than like a bass rod would with 10-pound test on it or 8-pound test on it, or even 6. It also will give the fish a fighting chance, and what I mean by that is you're going to have to play them if they're of any size, and even if they're small, you can actually feel the fight, that kind of deal. So it makes the fishing more fun. What I would say to you is a 7-foot rod, you're just going to get hung up all up in the trees and all up in the brush everywhere around here. This is a 5'6" rod, and the longest rod that I would go is 6'6". For me and my druthers, I like a 6-foot rod in this area. It's kind of the perfect balance between short and long, and it allows me to cast freely in tight quarters. So, you know, that is my preference. But 6'6", that's not an issue either. But if you go, it's a little bit more difficult to play and work around in this water. But if you go 7, good luck to you. And that's just my opinion. That's my advice if you're in waters like these. If I use like top water lures, frogs and crawfish and grasshopper, stuff like that, those things are $5-6 a piece if you buy the Rebel brand or any other quality, what they call a quality brand of lure. And I'm not knocking them, but on this river, Anytime you throw anything with a treble hook in this river, you got a 50% chance of not getting it back to the shore. Now, if you got a boat, that's a different story. You can go out there and get it, okay? But for a bank angler, cheap lures that work well are like a godsend. And the majority of my box is Ozark Trail lures because I can replace them cheaply when, not if, but when I lose them on this river. That's a fact. Let me show you what I'm talking about as a bank fisherman in this area. See all of that? That right there is 7 feet out in the water. Okay? So this ain't a pond. It ain't a big, huge river that's got everything washed away from the shore. This is the Shenandoah. It's a narrower river than what most people are fishing. And there's all kinds of stuff like that all over it. It's not the same thing. People talk about bank fishing and they go, oh, I bank fish with a 7-foot rod. Well, good luck with that. Along in here. I mean, you got overhanging branches, all kind of stuff. Don't know if you can see all that, but I mean, dude, that's how that is. And you have a really good chance every time you throw an artificial lure of not bringing that thing back to the bank. I absolutely do not want a 7-foot rod out here. This is going to try to run. See, this is what you're doing. You're trying to avoid one thing. You're ending up with another problem. That's just how it is. Okay, so I'm here. I'm standing between that and that. Okay? And I'm casting through here. And the current is taking my lure that way. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reel the lure in and get it around this way so that it's not hung up on this. So I get it between there, but then it gets hung up down in here. So this is what I'm talking about. When you're fishing an area like this, your casts are going to be shorter. You're going to have to watch on all sides to guide that lure as you're bringing it back to the bank around all the obstacles. You also have to understand that there's a whole bunch of fallen trees and all kind of stuff that are underneath that water that you can snag. Even if you avoid all of that, you can snag on that. If you get through that, you know, I'm standing on a bank that's about 10 feet tall. It's about 10 feet at least, maybe 12, to the water's surface from where I'm standing. So I've got to go around all of those obstacles, from getting hung up on anything that's under the water, and then I've got to try to avoid getting hung up on the bank. It's not for the faint of heart, But you can fish places like this. You have to accept those. There's a risk. You also have to mitigate it. You know, I hear people all the time go, well, if you fish a crankbait and you don't bounce it off of limbs and stumps and stuff like that, then you're not going to catch anything. Well, if you try bouncing it off of limbs and stumps around here, you'll just be cutting your line and leaving that $7 crankbait in the river. That's it. That's how it is. If you have a place like that, if that's what you have to fish in, fish it. Use inexpensive lures that you don't mind replacing because they don't cost a whole lot. Okay. Fish all the different obstacles that you can, but you have to understand that you're gonna have to guide that lure around, through, and over those kind of obstacles, and once you reach the bank, you're not safe. Okay, so it takes a particular kind of skill to come out here and just not lose your lure. You know, and so I hope that this will help you to understand and better be ready for places like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Choose all. Bless you.